Okay, this workshop is not going to be about how to use advanced watercolor tools or like make amazing color palettes. It's more about what can you do with what you have in the house, because that's my situation right now. Okay, nice. Thank you, Megan. Hello. And because I don't have most of my tools with me right now, they are where I was when the pandemic started. So I have a very limited color palette and I have very little tools. So today we're gonna be using salt. If you have some, go get some. We're gonna be using hand soap, just a little bit. And we're gonna be only using 3 watercolor bars. This is Kuratake. It's a Japanese brand. I'm gonna be using number 57 for blue, number 32 for red, and number 47 for brown. I will be talking about how I pick those colors. I do think that they work pretty well together. But so this workshop has 3 sections. For each of the sections, I am hoping to spend 20 minutes. Hi, Luisa. How are you? And I think this is, yeah, so also try to get some aluminum foil because it does make a lot of nice etchings on paper once it's wet. And it's pretty cheap too. I love that. I use that very often. So I have a big brush. I have 3 plastic brushes with water containers, but I'm not using them right now. And one of them is for details. It's very pointy, little, skinny. And the other ones are more for, holding more amount of water. I have a calligraphy pen that I use pretty often. If you have one, that's pretty nice. And for later, I don't think my voice was on when I was talking about this, but if you have a straw at hand, get a straw because we're gonna use this too. And okay, so 20 minutes. I have 16 minutes for this part. So what I want to do is I want to swatch the blue, red, and brown colors from dark to light. And in order to do this, I just want to put just clear water, which I did have some color from yesterday. So that's fine. It was going to be blue anyway. So I want to put some clear water to both all of them so I don't have to deal with this again. And I'm just gonna take some pigment and then I want to put the dark color here. And then I clean so I do have 2 water jars. I didn't really use or know this thing before, this trick, but usually people use 1 jar for cleaning the brush, like I did, and then use this second jar just for dipping the clean brush. I will show you in more detail later on, but I want to get this water dirty, but not this one. That's the goal. So now I just want to escape some color to this area. And that's fine. I like that image. I want to leave it as it is. And again, it's kind of nice to dry your brush once in a while because otherwise it's going to get really, really watery and you don't really want that. And same thing with brown. And I'm going to clean it again, dry it again, and then I want to get the light pigments here. Well, once it dries, it always looks different, so I don't want this area to look as faded as this area. I really want this area to look as dark as possible. I don't want the pigment to go away because I really want to see how dark it can go. It does give you a nice information later on. And now I want to mix them. So for this guy, I want to mix blue and brown, but I'm going to mix them separately. So I want to see how they interact with each other at the border. Again, maybe it's nice to use clear water. And I'm going to put this guy here. And I'm going to put, as you see, I always do the same thing because in the past, I used to put blue right in the brown pot, but it does get your colors pretty muddy and they don't look as joyful as they normally do. So I want to kind of like mix some areas. I want to leave some areas empty. This is just to see how, if I use this in a whole painting, if I use this for like portrait, I want to see how it's gonna react to each other under the eye, for example. Like this would be perfect for under eye because we have blue veins there, but we also have this, of course, I don't know, depending on your skin color, I guess. But if I paint it myself, I would kind of like use this. And so here I want to use blue and red. Again, I'm trying to go fast. I clean, I pat, and of course I can use some, I don't know, I want to see what happens from like dry to dry. So right now I have a lot of paint in my hand, so it's not as wet. So it's not, you wouldn't say it's wet on wet when I'm carrying the color from here, but it does spread once it, of course, reaches the watery area. So I like that. It's a clean line, but then it kind of disperses. And I want to make these guys interact with each other. As you see, they kind of make this purplish color. And then we will be making, I don't know, it's 1, 4, 5, like more than, I guess, like 10 more universes based on what we are doing here. So this is going to be our kind of guidance. So right now I'm going to use red and brown for this one. I clean my brush. I get rid of my water. And clean my brush. I don't want to carry any more water here because it is already very watery. And as you see, it does not make this like nice rosy color here. And usually if I have really a lot of water here, I would go in there with my towel. But for this exercise, I think we don't really need it. So here, for the blended ones, this one I'm not going to spend as much time. So for the blended ones, for this one, I'm just going to blend my blue and brown here on my palette. I really didn't want to clean my palette because I like having sort of excess color and maybe use them when I want to. I don't really like losing them. So this is gonna kind of give us a green tinge, right? Because brown is kind of yellowish and blue, of course, they make kind of like this green, but like very deep green, faded green, smoky color, which is beautiful, I find. And for this one, we do expect some purple. And I first put the blue on here, and then I put some color, water. And then I clean my brush. I go in there with more reds. And maybe I can also swatch this from dark to dark purple, deep purple to kind of lilac-y purple, right? So I can make this escape here, just the way I did here. So now we have another color that's pretty awesome that we didn't have just a second ago. So here I do expect some rosy color. it's kind of difficult to get the practice of not mixing colors with each other, you know, like not to put red into brown. It's, I don't know, I think it's counterintuitive for me, but right now I'm doing okay. This is a nice rosy terracotta color. I do hope that you can see the colors well. So let me show it to you more better, I guess. So they are pretty wet. So for this guy, what do I do? So now I want to make little universes just the way I did with these separate ones, but I want to do them with these blended ones. So 3 dots and X, I want to use this green hue with this rose color hue together. They are already very, so okay, I already got the rose color as a base accidentally. So let's put some green here. Let's see how they blend in with each other. I mean, the more you get into these colors, the more you get into natural colors, right? Like this is what we see in nature more. It's pretty difficult to get like bright colors like this, and you don't really see them. When we do, we are pretty surprised and we're happy, I think. And now 3 dots and just a line, which is purple and green. Purple here, clean the brush, dab it, and green here. It's more grayish. It is grayish because when you break down gray, you find blue and yellow. It was always surprising for me to know that. Like, it's just, I don't know, I was pretty surprised. Line and X, so we have the purple and we have the rose color. So you don't really need a whole palette in order to make these, I don't know, nice color combinations that go well together. Actually, I find that the more color that I use in a painting. Hi, Anna. Hi. How are you? Anna is my soulmate. Okay, so yeah, so I feel like the more color that you use, the more of a jumble that you get. Like it's more difficult to manage, difficult to find a balance in between. So these are gonna be our bigger universes. So we're gonna go crazy with these. So we're gonna use main colors and we're gonna use muted colors. We don't really care. I also don't care. I want to use whatever I have here, which is, let's see what I have. But I still want to clean my brush because I don't want to lose the purple in here. And this is just for trial, right? I usually end up using my trials as my main images. I don't find that as a problem. I like that. I cherish that. Today we will be cherishing a lot of mistakes. Or maybe not mistakes, but it's just, I don't know, unexpected turn of events, probably. So now I just want to have a big blob up of like really, really, I just want to do some water marbling here and there. I hope you can see it, but maybe I should just leave it like this. Maybe I should go in there with more blue because we don't have any blue here. But I do want to have like light blue, so I'm gonna, even if you have the darkest color, if you of course dilute it, you're gonna get kind of like baby blue when it dries. And I want the red to kind of escape into my cloud here. And it again made the purple color. What a surprise. I don't know, do I talk too much? Hi Anna, thank you. Thank you for the heart. You can ask me questions, you know. And oh, okay, so the reason I made this was I only wanted to use the main colors here, which I broke, but I like this one too, so I'm fine. And here, I only wanted to use the muted colors, but I don't really like rules. Okay, let's go with what I said before. the boring, my green color. I don't really have much of the green right now, so let's make more. Let's get some blue. Let's make some brown. And I have my green. It's pretty muted. And what did I have? I'm supposed to get some purple, right? Now I want to kind of like use my towel more because it's so once you have the feeling of it's not working for me, I like to go in there, clean the whole thing, because it does leave a nice stain usually. Or if you already have a nice background, you can get rid of the darker thing in the front, and then you reveal what's underneath, and that's usually rewarding. Now I want this to kind of escape here. Now I want to just dab in more because, as I said, now I have a lot of red here and I want to see what's underneath. Where's my... Okay. I want to use little details right now. So I'm gonna... My paper is still wet. So I can make dark lines, but I can also make them kind of blend in with the environment. I do suggest that you don't follow my exact process, but you find your own and take mine as suggestions. So right now it kind of looks like, I guess, a big sunset, and then clouds in the front, right? So I want to kind of try that again, and then fill these ones. I want to remove the paint here, make it look more like a cloud, transparent at the bottom. So here, maybe, what should I do? We're not gonna use salt right now, and we are at the 20th minute, so it's time for us to go to the next phase. But I do wanna just make some dry brushes, so you see the rose color, green color, and I wanna kind of, I don't know, just have fun a little bit before I go to the next phase. And if you drop a big blob of water in this one, you will see that it will stain it. You will see that it will remove color, or the color is gonna escape from there. So for example, if I do this, if I really get rid of the water from there, take the water from there, it will be lighter. I like that about watercolor. It's very tolerant towards what you would call mistakes. But in reality, there are no mistakes. Cheesy as it may, there are no mistakes. Yeah. Megan, you liked the muted color combination before I erased it. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. What do your X and dots indicate? Oh, I just did that. So I did that so that I know that this one is blue. So from the beginning, I marked blue with dots and red with a line, just a straight line of arrow. And for brown, I made an X, right? So the second one, I knew that it would still carry. I knew that it would still carry the three dots, and now I have. So I have the blue, and here I know that it won't. So I need to put X in this circle. So I know that my X is my brown. So that's the beginning. That's the first step. So that's how I wanted to remember. And I know that it's not as good as maybe numbering them. I used to number these things, but it's kind of difficult to like when you say like 1 plus 2. So in the past I would say 1 plus 2. So this would be 1 plus 2. So the green would be 1 plus 2, and I would say 1 plus 2, comma 2 plus 3 for this like rose color. And I don't know, this I wanted to try it this way this time. It's just a preference. You can also use, I don't know, blue, red, brown, I guess, the whole word. And let's go to the next place. Ta-da! Maybe I can keep this here for reference. So here we're gonna use like salt and soap and all of that good stuff. And these are like what I have been making. So I think it's kind of useful to see what kind of effects that they have on a painting. So for example, these like little bird-like white marks are made when you actually, if you can get the watery, soapy water, splash as little as this, because it's kind of difficult to get it splashed as well. I don't know how I did it. Usually I make a jumble of stuff and then it dries and it gives me a bird or something. Here I see a phoenix, but I did nothing to make that phoenix. It just, after a point, it just appeared, and it even has an eye, so it's kind of surprising. And here I put salt, but salt does not always give the effect that I wanted to give. So I haven't been using salt for ages. I only just started. So I find that sometimes it works really, really well. For example, one effect that it has that I like is on black. When you put salt, somehow it collects all the black and you get these like little black dots on a gray area, which is kind of perfect. It carries the color. Is this normal thick watercolor paper looks shiny? These ones or this one? Which one? First of all, these are all watercolor paper, the whole thing. They're all from the same brand, Kenson, I believe, with a C. And I will make an Amazon list and then write it in the caption. So when I guess post a live video online, you can always go back to it and see what it is. But this is very shiny because I didn't use watercolor with this. I used mica powder. I just wanted to see what kind of effect it has, and I used mica powder with a brush. I constantly did this as if you're applying eyeshadow on it. So it's very, very glittery. It's very pearly. The first part. You're saying this one. Is that the case, Luisa? This one, yeah, all of them are watercolor paper. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so let's start. So for this one, I'm gonna kind of go with this fire, water, earth theme, just because it goes so well with these three colors. And what I want to do is I want to have, first of all, I want to really get my phone out of the way because I can see what you're writing. I like this one a lot. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate it, mate. And okay, so I want to have my towel here because I'm going to use it pretty often. And see, so right now my water is dirty enough that the color does not get removed the first time. So that's when you kind of start using your clean water, because you really want to get rid of the color. Otherwise, you're going to get a muddly effect here, right? You don't want that. So the first thing I'm doing is I have clean water. I'm going to make a swirling thing. I'm going to make a water-like gesture. And let's see if you can see this. You do see it a little bit. It does shine. Yeah. So I'm going to feed, but I also have to see it, which is not easy. So I want to get blue color here. I want to see the first beginning of my pattern. I want to put it here. And if I put more water, I would see it much more clearly. So right now I'm going out of it, but that's fine. That's totally fine. I want to make the beginning much more darker. So I'm going to do that. So we are kind of making a water bending effect. I have been watching Avatar religiously thanks to Netflix. It's pretty awesome. That was my childhood favorite, so I'm pretty happy. So now I'm gonna kind of like bridge the between just a little bit. I don't want it to complete connect, but yeah. So we're gonna make a couple of these things. Same. Thank you. I want to make the beginnings pretty dark because why not? So again, I will clean this brush. I want to have more water this time. So let's see. I want to put it here. So now it will kind of emerge with the bottom one, of course. See, it does emerge, but I don't care. I cherish that effect. So I get really a lot of pigment on my brush. I put it at the beginning. Ooh, it goes because of the gravity. Thank you, gravity. And yeah, so maybe we can even leave it as it is because the gravity did the job. I do use gravity a lot actually when I'm painting because it does make this nice dripping effect, and sometimes I just want to have it upwards, so sometimes I would just paint a portrait and then flip the canvas, make a pull out of it and flip the canvas and then have the whole thing going upwards. So I like that a lot. I like feeling that I don't know, so every time I feel that something is a bit like too stiff, it's too planned or something, I just want to go in there with this like big brush and then mess the whole thing, because I feel like that I don't know, at the end it looks more beautiful. I feel like that's me. Okay, let's do more. Here, and then maybe here, here, here. I kind of run out of water a bit, so I'm gonna do this. And see, thank you, gravity. Clean the brush. And now I just want to make the details with like really dark blue color, because I just want to make like parallel lines. I don't know, anything of this sort. I want to feed the dark ends of the curves. Okay, so let's say that this is the beginning because it's been 10 minutes. Okay, I have another 10 minutes to finish this whole thing, which is impossible. I need more time. Okay, let's do the fire. For fire, I'm gonna make these red dots. And then now I need clean water. Yeah, I was gonna do the same thing. And I put clean water here and there, here and there, here and there, here and there. And Now I just want the like red fire color to just run into these like white areas. From here, from here, from here. And hope that it does give the effect that I want. I mean, it's not a fire in the sense that it kind of collects at the bottom, but it's a fire in the sense that firebender fire comes out of nowhere. Okay, that's gonna dry. And now we're gonna make the earth. So for this one, I'm gonna have to blow, I'm gonna use a straw a bit. And I hope that it's not gonna make a screeching sound. So now I wanna have like, again, a lot of water, brown color here, here, here. Kind of, well, if I don't have enough water, when I kind of like breathe, blow, I'm gonna need to use a lot of like lung strength, which I don't have. So I need to have a lot of water here. Okay, let's try. So you can actually make it, you can change the direction and it will go wherever you want. So it does make a nice branch effect. You can make a nice forest background with this very easily. It's pretty easy. I'm gonna leave it at that. And you can always go back there with a darker color, just feed the roots of this so that it does have a more realistic shading, I guess. Here and there, here and there. So now let's kind of like bridge all of these things. Maybe I should get rid of my brackets. Okay. I want the rosy color here, so I mix my brown and my red. I want the big brush for some reason. I just want to do this dry brush effect. So because even though I put a lot of water in it, let's get these guys from the other canvases. Feed it. That's fine. And I want to do the water effect here. But now that I have wet backgrounds, I'm pretty sure it's not going to work as well, but it does. It does kind of work well. It's just, I put a lot of pigment in it, so it's not as well, it doesn't have the nice gradient that we had in here. So that's why I want to put some clean water here. Okay. But this is pretty symmetrical, I see on the camera. And let's do the red dots here. Let's see what happens. Clean water. I want the clean water. Yeah, clean water, definitely. These areas are pretty much dry because I did kind of feed it into the paper. Okay. So maybe we can go to the other phase, which is now I just want to put a big blob of water here, as clean as possible. I don't care. And then now I'm just gonna feed different sets of colors, like blue, some water marbling effect. This goes actually better once I have all the colors in place. But do you see this? Gravity. Cool. So now I want to put some red. And now I want some clean water again, so that I can, where should I put it? Here maybe. I want the color to escape. You can always take some color, carry it elsewhere. Let's leave it like this. So for example, if I put salt here, let's try it. So I have my old Harry Potter inspired brush. I get some salt. If I put it on here, I bet it's not gonna work as well. Right now it looks like it works. Maybe, I don't know. You know when you say like that your child can spell amazingly, but then your child can't really spell at all when you show it to someone. So it's, I think it just did that. Like it seems to work pretty well actually. It does collect. Do you have essential tips for beginners? Yeah, honestly, the first tip that I'm giving you is just do it. Don't care. Just put a big blob. Let's do another one. Just don't care, because if you do care, if you feel like, oh, I'm gonna mess it, I have this amazing picture, but if I do and take another step, it's just gonna get ruined. If you do that, the improvement really not gonna happen. So the more you take the risk, the more you're gonna realize that, first of all, whatever risk that you're gonna be taking, it's gonna be worthwhile. It's just you're gonna learn a lot, and sometimes they're gonna be your masterpieces, and you're not gonna even see it coming. So just do it and don't care. So let's do some. See, I love this. So right now, let's put more salt here. See the effect, and then let's try to use some soap. So for soap, my tip for beginners would be, which I don't usually do it myself. It would be that pick one brush and stick with it instead of, Apurva, thank you so much. I love you. I miss you. So this is my hand soap, and I would say that pick one brush, stick with it. Try not to use soap like water. Try not to go back and forth much, because if you do, your whole water is going to be soapy, and then you're not going to really see the effect on the color, because the whole color will already have the soap in it, so it's not going to disperse, it's not going to escape as much as you want. So what you can do instead is, for example, with a straw or something, take some water and then put it in your soap. You don't really want a lot of bubbles there, but then you will get a nice splash. So let's try it here. Please work. Yeah, see? That's how I got my bird effect. Let's try how it works here. So I do go crazy with it pretty much every day. So since I realized that it works pretty well, I want to have more water, because I feel like the thicker it is, the less splashes it makes, which makes sense, right? And actually, you don't have to just splash. You can intentionally make the color escape from, for example, let's try here. So you can let it escape from here. It didn't work amazingly because it's pretty dry, but let's try here. See? This is a very solid escape though. It's not what you would want. So I just want to get the soap here. Okay. Okay, we are over the 20-minute time, but I want to spend more time here. So what we can do is we can just have this little underground fish effect. You know, when if you ever go diving or something, or probably I don't know. I went diving, but I never actually saw it there. So let's see. Uh, you know, in documentaries and stuff, where you see these like big colonies of fish, right? Um, and sometimes people take pictures of them from underneath, so they look kind of like this. So if you make like a lot of lines, circular lines. And I want to make the thing in between. I want to put clear water here so that we see the sunlight, right? Yep. We have a lot of water there. Darker color. Yeah, so I try to kind of make the beginning a bit like more bulky so that it looks more like fish heads. Kind of like commas, actually. Comma. Okay, that's enough for that. And it's gonna dry. It has a lot of water in it, so that's gonna be fine. So the second thing I want to do is I really want to show this guy. That doesn't look amazing. I made the handle from polymer clay. I baked it and then I wrapped Ferrero Rocher chocolate wrapper on top of it. But you can also use like aluminum foil and just wrap it around a brush or a pencil or whatever. And let's get some color from here. I want the gray color, so I'm gonna make some more greenish gray, or maybe brown. I don't know. I think I need more blue. Just gonna do this again and then see what happens. I just want to dip it in water just to see, and then I just want to do this. This might be really disturbing for, I don't know, like if the mic is not doing a good job, I guess. So it does give a tweed effect. And see, I cherish this thing too. So it will give it a nice pink hue there. I like that. And normally, so for example, if you have a calligraphy pen, what you can do is you can feed this color. So calligraphy pen is pretty cool because I only got one workshop from a friend for this. And instead of using an actual pencil pen, micron pen or whatever, I need more pigments. Calligraphy pen allows you to just make clean marks, nice thin lines, without actually ruining your pen. So if I use this on a wet painting, which I did in the past, it kind of ruins it. It's not the best decision to make. So I do need some more water, I think. So once we get it right, so there's a hole in the middle, it has to be covered with pigment. And these days, maybe I bent it, I don't know. It doesn't always work perfectly. Oh my god. But when it does really work really nicely. I do, yeah, see, cool. So I'm sure this is a very cheap tool actually. My friend gave it to me in the workshop. And you can, I also even use it as an etching tool because it does etch pretty well on white paper. So yeah, you can make stuff like that, and then you can kind of dab that too, so it just leaves a stain on it. I do use towel the most probably, so and the last thing I can do is people use this for many reasons. Kind of gives a flower water marbling effect. Okay, and do we have any? Let's use some straw. Okay, and so I would want to use masking fluid in this workshop, but it does dry a bit later. So I made this like trial paper before. We can also kind of like look at what I did before and how they turn out now, right? So in here, probably I used much more water, so it does make that vein effect much more visibly. And what else? So yeah, so this is where I used the masking fluid, and so you put it on with a very bad brush, a brush that you dislike or you don't like or it's cheap or whatever. Maybe I'm not sure if you can use like a toothpick or something, but this is the one I use. So you put it on, you leave it to dry, and then you put any color that you want, and then you kind of peel it off, and you can do yeah. So it does leave this really clean mark, and that kind of looks like a ferret to me. And this is what happened with salt. Little, little color, I don't know, little white areas, I guess, dots. And this is what happened with soap. This is just main, like one color, solid color. This is two colors. And this is what I first did with a straw. And this is what I did with like 3 lines of circles and then kind of like blowing with a straw in the middle so it just does its thing, and then kind of like turning the paper in a circle, just giving more air, etc., and then just like making this with the straw, so it's just blends in. I don't know, it makes very thin lines, so I like that. Okay, so next phase. And see, this is a nice unexpected, I guess, if you do this, it's like a seaweed effect. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. And now I have bigger ones. So this is for the next 10 minutes. I think it's nice to just like go in there and paint whatever we want. So what I usually do is, so this is what happened with the first paper that we did. We can always go back and see what I actually did there to get this effect. I believe it. I don't know. It's a lot of water. I have to check. I'm not entirely sure what I did, but okay, let's go in there with some paints, some blue paint. So I just put wet brush on dry canvas. I didn't wet the canvas, as you see with this one. I just want to rotate the brush here and there, and it does kind of create this like flowery effect. I don't know what flower, but a nice flower effect. Yeah, for beginners, I think I look at the first paintings I did. I see that try to stay in lines so much, and I felt disappointed so much because you think about one thing and then you don't really reach to that point, right? And and that's only natural because how else you're gonna learn? But I mean, even if it's cliche, it's everyone knows this. It's just really difficult to internalize yourself. So I see that mostly when so I'm just right now. I'm just etching on, of course, like wet canvas with this aluminum foil tool. I just want to etch around the circles, just see what happens. And then I want to put some brown here because I love blue with brown. And I feel like somehow it just creates this grounding effect. It just makes it more humble and cooler, I guess, in some ways. Because blue in itself, I like this color very much, but I feel like it's much more meaningful when it has this like muted color. So for a beginner, one thing that I learned pretty late is, of course, using limited amount of colors. But the second thing is, I will share the name of the artist if you're curious. But there's this one woman. She does oil paintings and she shares them on Instagram. Her paintings are mostly based on she draws hands, and in her hands there is always this light source, and the background is dark, yet you see the light source kind of like, I don't know, you do that as a child, like you see the orangey reddish like skin color. I don't know, my English today, it's gone. So basically you see a dark background, a light source, and around it a red hue that's caused because of your hands. And she does this pretty amazingly. Her technique is like, it's crazy. And I remember her saying that like she gets that effect only by like the neon effect of the light, only by making the colors around it very, very desaturated. So to me that's the color, I don't know, mastery. If you can get that, because even if you know it, you it's very difficult to apply because your heart wants to go crazy with colors. Maybe, I don't know, mine does. But whenever I actually hold myself and apply this, I feel like it looks great. So that's one thing that I want to really, really reach. Yeah, let's leave this to dry so that maybe I can use some gold on it. And maybe I can go over 5 minutes. I don't know. So let's use masking tape, but not in the way that it's intended, which is to leave the whole, leave it to dry, and then basically leave it to dry and then peel it off once it's dry so that you have a clean line. I don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna, yeah, right now, yeah, I should have cleaned it with the second jar. Yeah, after a while you do have to kind of change your color. So to a beginner, it's a good advice to just take your time and leave your desk, breathe a bit, and change your water if you want it to stay clean. So right now I just wanna, I put some color there. I just wanna, I feel like this was my soapy brush because the color escapes from it. So don't do this. Don't do what I'm doing. A little more curves. And maybe curve here. I think this is good practice to kind of like get control over your brush. Like if you can't make this amazing curve like I couldn't here, that's fine because you can always make a double line here, leave a gap here, so it looks like that's pretty intentional, you know. And we have this beautiful seeping, and I want to use, yeah, what we didn't do, which I do a lot, is this, right? I love that. Let's put some salt. Let's use everything. Ideally, you're not supposed to do everything at once in one painting because it just overrides, it's just too much. But I also do find myself doing that because why not? You live once. And yeah, so this is gonna dry. I do want to put some more darks in here. So one thing, of course, always have contrast. Always try to get some contrast. If you try to make everything bright, which of course some artists kind of like also they have mastery over this bright colors, they can manage that. It's just, I don't know, it's always nice to just try and see what you're good with, you know. But I like to put some dark colors over a pale background or something because it just really pops really nicely. So if I put something like this here, and then if I scanned it after a while, I will see that it just pulls everything together or something. I like that. And this really looks like a bird or a snake. I don't know. I can't help seeing these animals. I'm obsessed with crescents and moons, so you can ask questions if you want. This was a very quick hour, I feel like. But thank you so much for staying and listening. This was a lot of fun. It's a bit of a rush, definitely. But one thing that I want to show, which I realized yesterday, so let's put a lot of... So I have... Make use of the stuff that's lying around in your house. Okay, where is it? Yeah, for example, I have this brush, which I bought for, I don't know, some reason, I guess. And I never used it much, but I ended up like using it with watercolor. And so it's perfect for making some clouds. It's a really soft effect. And for example, let's put any color that I want here. I don't have to think too much. I can make this, and I can go from light to dark, or vice versa. I don't know. And I can just do this. I love this. This is very therapeutic, actually. Let's use some blue here, right? It kind of deserves it. Ah, that's so beautiful. Actually, I want to leave it as it is. I'm just going to leave it as it is because it feels like a ribbon there. So let's use some soap on that. Some salt and some soap. Of course, at this point, I don't know which brush was my soap brush, so I'm just gonna go in there with my thinnest one. I just want to do this. Do you see the effect? Beautiful. Well, here it's pretty dry, these areas, but here it's not. Yeah, use soap. It's pretty cool. And here it's dry, so let's use the gold. So, okay, with this gold, I don't... Thank you, Megan. You're so nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is Martha, what's her name? Martha Stewart, right? So she does these, she has a line, of course, in US. And so this is called liquid gilding gold. The stuff that's written back at the background of this is horrific. It's like warning, cancer, vapor harmful, eye irritant, everything that you don't want to hear. It's in that thing. But it's also the gold color that, like, I have multiple ones. I have pens, etc. but this one works the best. But it doesn't work nicely when you don't really mix it well. So if you see here, it kind of created this like magenta halo around it. With this painting, again, I cherish that because it's a very nice pink hue. So it goes nicely with this pink area. So maybe you can see it perfectly, but when I share it on Instagram, you will be able to see that. So I do this, and then I open it. It's gonna smell horrific. And I'm gonna use my calligraphy pen. I'm gonna dip it here, clean it. I'm probably using this pen pretty harshly. I don't think it deserves this like treatment, but it's fine. You know, what else it's gonna do? So, okay. Okay, so I have it here. It might not work the first time. I'm just gonna try to get it work. So I just want to put some. Yeah, see, it didn't work. I don't know why. Maybe I should get a new one. I don't know. So yeah, I put a lot. I'm just gonna make little marks, like raindrops or something. If you have any suggestions, I take it here because I don't know what I'm doing. But I think I just wanna go around the circle like this. So as if it's kind of like embracing the circle, it's making this little what is it called, Milky Way effect, sort of like going around in circles. Thank you, Megan. And yeah, that's fine for now. Oh, see, our soap kind of did this thing, this effect, and here, and then I have my gold on. And you usually want to wipe this off with a paper towel. I don't have any here. I just want to. So, for example, I have this trial. So, I cut a lot of circles, right? So, I have a lot of excess paper. And like this. So, they're good for trying stuff. Do I have something nice that I can draw on? I have this drawing of a cat. This leaves. Oh, do you want me to do some leaves? Okay, sure. Maybe I can do some leaves here actually because the cat has some grass underneath. Okay, this is going into from a watercolor workshop to a drawing workshop. So this is from a dream actually. Got it. Okay, Luisa. Yeah, this is from a dream. I dreamt that there was this hoop patch, literally like embroidery hoops, kind of like so embroidery hoops, half dig, like half in the earth, it's kind of like sprouting, but when they sprout, they just like have colorful threads on them, sort of thing. And when they actually give fruits, it's a whole embroidery hoop that's embroidered. It was a pretty nice dream, and I saw this like cat with a sheep fur, so it had a curly fur. So we can see that it does make clean marks. I'm just showing the gilding here because I think it's better to have a drawing, like pencil guidance, than just like doing random marks. So I have, oh, come on. Let's try it here. Where's the, I feel like when I like do it like this, it kind of helps. Yeah, it does. Check out Extras by Elena because she gave us this workshop with calligraphy, and I never really practiced it much. That week I was obsessed with it, of course. I was also obsessed with the opportunities that I can, like explore with watercolor and then using calligraphy on it. It's really so come on. Okay. See, now it's puddling. It's kind of cool. Yeah. very clean lines. And this is my cat. It's so cute. Yeah, okay. Well, this is the end of the workshop. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for joining. I love this. I love doing what I'm doing right now with this. It's just very therapeutic. And honestly, the minute I found that it's just like okay to do whatever I want, just mixing colors basically without planning, it just gave me immense freedom. It's very liberating. I suggest that to the beginners first, so that you just get an idea of like how to use the brush, what do you like actually, you know. Um, I will end here. Thank you, Megan, and have a nice day. Teşekkür ederim. Let's clean up. Bye.